Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Dim bam, dim dim bam, dim 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 bam, dim bam, dim dim bam, dim 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 bam.
Well, good Shabbos. Welcome to Temple Shir Shalom's Kabbalat Shabbat service, both drive-in for those of you who are here in our parking lot with us, as well as online and virtual for those who are at home or watching in the comfort of wherever you might find yourself, on a boat, outdoors, home, wherever you're enjoying and bringing in Shabbat. As we welcome Shabbat, our prayer book, for anybody that would like to follow along in some of the prayers, some of the words we'll be posting on our YouTube page, so that you can follow along there if you're watching online. If you're here, words for the Kaddish were handed to you as you walked in, and some other things as well. The home viewers, if you pull up on our resource page under Temple Shir Shalom on the YouTube account, you'll be able to pull up a full prayer book there too. If there's anything that you wanted to join in, you'll be able to do that as well. Later on during the service, if you have Tish questions, you'll be able to post those either on our YouTube page at Temple Shir Shalom, or if you are here with us, you can text that number that was given to you at the bottom of the sheet as you drove in as well. But as we always do, we take a moment to get to know our community and welcome people that are around us here, around the world, wherever you might find yourself for Shabbat. So if you're online, take a moment to put something in the chat to let us know that you're here. Wish somebody a Shabbat Shalom. If you're here, shout to the car next to you and wish them a Shabbat Shalom as well.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Come on, who's our farthest away? Services. Colorado. Let's see.
V'taher libenu, v'taher libenu la'avdecha be'emet. These words translate to purify our hearts, that we may serve you in truth. Those words, we find them in the Amidah, words which traditionally are recited daily, weekly. Purify our hearts, so that we may serve you in truth. As I think about these words, I'm reminded of an article that I read this week from a Jewish newspaper out of New York. One which, of course, afterwards are recycled, so I can't find who it was, who responded to a question that really resonated with me. There's an article, a question that was asked of 5 different rabbis, asking, should we allow our children to watch TV? Remember, this is an Orthodox newspaper. The responding, those rabbis put in a halakha what they believe. The one that resonated with me warned that we need to be careful. Because if we don't set boundaries, expose our children to everything that's out there on TV. And then that becomes the norm for them. This past week, How many of us have tuned in something on the news, or read a post on social media, or heard a comment from a family member or a friend that didn't reflect the values that we try to pass on, the values that we try to live by? I think that's what this prayer reminds us of, but really Shabbat reminds us of as well. It gives us a chance to center ourselves, to focus on the values which are important to us. It reminds us of how we should live. So as we do that, we invite you to close your eyes for a moment, to focus on your breathing. Breathe in, slowly inhaling that breath, the air through your nose. As you breathe out, exhale slowly through your mouth. Shabbat. Our day of rest, our day to center ourselves, to remind us of our mission, who we are, of the values that we strive to live by. Think of a value that's important to you. Maybe it's chesed, being caring and compassionate. Maybe it's the value of Kabbalat, of community. Maybe the value of kavod, respect, etc. Justice, righteousness. Whatever value, meditate on that for a moment. You chose that word and what it means. What you've done this week to live by that value. Maybe also think about where you missed your mark. What more you can do to show the importance of the value to yourself and to others. Tahir Libeinu La'avdecha Be'emet. Purify our hearts that we may serve you, O God, following these values and serve you in truth. And as we prepare to serve God in truth, we rise together for our call to worship for the words of the Baruch.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema 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 Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
So much of our tradition, our prayers, even our meditations come in some way rooted in Torah. And this week's Torah portion is the end of the book of Numbers, and it describes the Israelites' journey to the wilderness, the 40 years of wandering, but it recounts all the places that we stopped, the 28 or so different places and what occurred in those places. And we wonder, why does it mention each of them by name? We've just gotten through all these chapters of Torah. What's the import of all of them? And what one of the commentators says is that each of these places helped form our identity. Each of the experiences that occurred there helped form our identity, whether it was when the manna arrived in Raphidim, or when the people complained about what was happening to them and that they wanted the great foods they used to have, and Moses struck them. All the different things. It doesn't reference all the things, it references just the places. And I'm sure we each can think of our own lives and how places at times defined what happened. I mean, I was born in northern New Jersey, then moved to St. Louis as a little boy, then back to New Jersey, back to St. Louis, then down to North Carolina, then to Jerusalem, then to Cincinnati, and then to Michigan. All these places. And so much that defines me, my identity, is because of things that happened that were beyond my control of how I ended up in these places. And I think that reality of what is not in our control is something that we reflect on in our prayer, because our response is what we do control. Maybe as children we move from place to place because parents' jobs changed, or maybe we moved because of opportunities, because of what we hoped for, but not for the place, but the people that helped us grow, and the things that happened to us that helped us as well. But then there were challenges as well, things we couldn't control. And look at what we're living through right now, that truly, on some level, is not in our own hands. But our response is. The attitude we feel, the perspective we can hold on to, how we help one another, how we create meaningful engagement, even in times of social distancing, how we connect ourselves to one another. Someone said to me before services from like 18 feet away, as I said, "It's nice to see you," he said, "Well, actually, I've seen you every week." And that was a nice reminder that we are still connected, that we've been together. I think we have to remind ourselves that we need to make those efforts. We have to use our words to tell people that we're still in each other's lives, that we're still connected. And the words sometimes we say come in those prayers as well. Let us lie down in peace, God, so that we can wake up tomorrow refreshed, protected, safe from all of the challenges that fill our world. Make sure that we can still have those blessings. That perspective is what drives our hope. That hope is what carries us through the most difficult time. Just as the Torah portion goes through all of these different places the Israelites journeyed through during their time, the 40 years in the wilderness, So our prayers, in a sense, are a journey that we go through each time we gather in some way or another. And each prayer is a little bit of a pit stop to help us gain that perspective, to sort of hang our thoughts on in that moment. And we say the same prayers every Shabbat or some every day we're together. Some would say, well, why don't we mix up our prayers? And the idea is that we are the ones who have a different sense in these moments, but the prayers sort of bring us together, connect us. The prayers are the constant. And depending what our lens is on this Friday night, maybe when we chant the Avot, the Imahot, maybe when we get to those central prayers, maybe when we say the Aleinu or the we think differently. But the prayers are something that's a continuum for us. And like our ancestors, they've been part of that journey, part of connects us one to the other. And so we gather now for the central prayers of worship, the Amidah, the prayers that we call the constant in what we always create. But we begin with some silent meditation, with that idea of what brings us together. And we begin with that meditation on a poem by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. It reminds us that just as we are experiencing the beginning of Shabbat right now, so is the entire Jewish world. Wherever people would gather, whether in New York or in Detroit or in Jerusalem, at some point at this time, it begins Shabbat. So let us pray silently, either with the words we sing or those that come from our own hearts.
Fall is blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the song in the silence of the night. And eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Is blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind. There is a song on the wind. Joy in the trees. Joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor VaHanora, El Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh HaKol, זוכר חסי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ביערה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מוריד הפל מחכה חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים תומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלוך מלך ממיך ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
As we continue our prayers, our thoughts turned, thinking of those in need of healing and strength, friends and family of our congregation. We should bear Rachel Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov, but Imotenu Sravka Rachel Hu Ivrach et Cholim. Merciful God has blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. And your blessings to our loved ones who are stricken with illness and anxiety, especially those friends and family we think of. Eugene Blakeman, Joe Bussell, Pat Carey, Karen Kasman, Patty Serezny, Bill Cooperstock, Lisa Dorff, Ezra Chaim and Devorah, Miriam Farber, Gary Fishman, Paul Fulton, Adele Gaba Bayan, Howard Goldberg, Paul Goldberg, Barbara Goldman, Sylvia Goldman, Batia Shagmina, Charles Gross, Andrew Halo, Crystal Halo, Hank Heiser, Farrah Hopkins Gordon, Rebecca Horn, Sarah Jacobson, Victor Kislak, Serafina Coffrin, Rick Kornspan, Ivan Krasny, Marta Lazar, Henry Leopold, Nina Livieva, Zoe Marcus, Beth Margolin, Florence Mars, Scott Miles, Rabbi Robert Nosenchuk, Eric Perez, Leslie Pillings, Mary Batana Alba Esther, Sarah Pomerantz, Jean Richmond, Alan Roseman, the St. Amand family, Ernest Schoen, Amy Selmanoff, Suzanne Zalesnik Smith, Fran Son, Chaim Shmuel Ben Noach, Kocha Ben Noach, Sherry Weiner, as well as all those battling coronavirus, both at home and in the hospital. 20,095 American troops have been injured in Iraq and Afghanistan and surrounding areas to date, and all the names in our hearts. Baruch atah Narfachim, bless you God, give strength to those in need.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us.
addition to our prayers of healing for members of our community, we take a moment to pray for those who are helping others heal. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors. Bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick. Physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians and home health aides, EMTs and pharmacists, social workers, respiratory therapists, and mental health professionals. And bless those who continue to go above and beyond, those working daily in our grocery stores, those who drive medical supplies to our homes, those delivering necessities to our families, cooking meals for so many, everyone who puts the needs of others above their own, navigating the unfolding dangers of the world each day, tending to those who they have sworn to help. Bless them in their coming home and bless them in their going out. Ease their fear, sustain them. Source of all breath, healer of all beings, protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them that they may bring strength. Keep them in health that they may bring health. Help them know again a time when they can breathe without fear. Bless the sacred work of their hands, and may this plague pass from among us speedily and in our days. As together we say, Amen. Rise together for our concluding prayers for the words of the Aliyah.
Aleinu shaliach Adon hakol, na'ateit gedula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asan kegriye haratzot, velo samanu mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kachol ha'amonam, va'anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim livnei melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Nothing can fill the emptiness that the death leaves behind. Those who are no longer a physical presence are still alive within our thoughts and our words. Their memories are only a part of the picture. So long as we recall their presence and their warmth, their friendship, their heart, mind, and thought are still within our soul. We honor and cherish the ones we love by living our lives to the fullest. So on this Shabbat, we think of those friends and family who have been taken from us in these most recent days. So Shiva, Shloshim, and Shana we mark. Adeline Meisner, Beatrice Howard, Cynthia Watson, Thomas Klein, Fanny Zuckerman, Nina Cutler, Loretta Ziegelman, Charlotte Merritt, Laura Roth, Susan Averbuck, and the 2,420 Americans in our armed forces lost in Afghanistan and the surrounding areas to date. To their names, we add those whose yard sites we mark, those of whose anniversary of passing we lovingly commemorate. Jean Arden, Raymond Becker, Lena Beckerman, Al Binder, Barbara Bachoff, Harry Bussell, Sidney Chiswick, Melba Cohen, C.C. Cowper, Dr. Leonard Crane, Jack Diamond, Deborah Feldman, Jeannie Garbio, Eleanor Golick, Sidney Geller, Rose Grossman, Margaret Gorelnick, Nathan Haynes, Bernice Hollander, Samuel Hollander, Diane Hoseman, James Ingalls, Seymour Jaffe, Benjamin Janauer, Israel Kaplansky, Larry Allen Klegman, Irving Cleef, Sue Knights, Diane Krosnick, Samuel Ledger, Frida Linden, Val Joe Morrow, Jeannie Maxwell, Vivian McGill, Nettie Moore, Ann Moroff, Edith Moss, Lillian Newell, Ray Pivos, Arnold Piper, Ruth Elaine Rich, Dr. Herschel Rubin, Murray Rudner, Ernestine Schott, Marion Schwartz, Shirley Sittner, Les Smith, Milton Smith, Diane Stahl, Sam Stockler, Joseph Tadelbaum, Julius Tadelbaum, Martin Craig Weinstein, Sandra Weston, Irving Woolman, Tim Wright. Along with all the names in our hearts and those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, do we join together in the immortal words of the mourner's Kaddish? Yikadal, Yikadash, Shmei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach, Beritei, Vamlich Malchutei, V'chayachon, Uvyomachon, Uv'chayei L'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalah, Uvizman Kariv, Be'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Ve'elam, Omei Omaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitba'ar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei, Yikudusha, Brichu, Le'ela, Minko, Birchata, B'shirata, Tushbachata, V'nechmata, Ve'amiran, Ve'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabba, Mid Shemaya, V'chaim, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mamav. We say shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Imru. Amen. For the source of peace and peace to all, Lord. Comfort to all the bereaved among us here and everywhere. Together we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos, Rabbi.
It seems that now there's two of me.
I couldn't read that you were back.
Oh, so I didn't know that. So, but actually, for the Ufruf, we'll get. How can we
use the other mic's music stand and turn it toward them?
Oh, we'll try to do that. Okay, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Well,
somebody else.
Well, first of all, she's figuring out. Good Shabbos to everybody at home and here in our parking lots. It's a beautiful evening. A couple announcements. We're getting ready to take care of a couple things. One, just a reminder that tomorrow morning our Shabbat morning service is at 9 a.m. You can watch that on YouTube as well and be a part of that. Tish starts at 9:30 tomorrow morning. So if you're interested in delving into a little bit of Torah and having some fun with us, learning, teaching, join us at 9:30. We can get you the information if you want to be a part of that as well. And our Sunday morning minyan is going to be happening at 10 a.m. and that's on Zoom. So if you need a link to that, let us know, and we're happy to send that your way. We continue with some of our adult ed opportunities and actually have some new ones coming up as well. The first one is going to be Monday Morning Musings with Rabbi Mike. That's going to be Monday morning on 9 a.m. on YouTube and on Facebook. And then on Tuesday, we begin a new series, the third round of it. So if you've ever wanted to go to Israel and you can't get on a plane right now, like everybody else, we're bringing Israel to you. And so we've been doing a Lunch and Learn series. We're about to start the third trip to Israel. It's a 5-week trip, and it doesn't cost you anything if you're a temple member. And so we'd love to have you join us. It's 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Tuesdays. And the first session is going to be, this time is going to be, we're traveling to Tel Aviv. And learning about the modern state and the establishment of Israel. So it should be a fascinating class. Email us. We're happy to get you the information, or you can find it online to be able to register too. Superb.
Don't scream and be a super spreader there, Carl. Be careful.
Carl loves that class. He's encouraging everybody to be a part of it.
So, my friends, we have a tradition, and by the way, we will have Tish in a moment, so you can be thinking or texting or chatting in your Tish questions. But before that, you know, the tradition, when you have joy in your home and your life, you bring that joy into your community so everyone can have a piece of that, can celebrate with that. And on literally the eve of their wedding, 24 hours, Olivia Taylor and Brett Klein will become husband and wife. And so I invite the two of them up to our parking lot for their ufruf, and they come with wine and Kiddush cup. This is awesome. It's perfect. So if you go right in front of that music stand, and Brett, you should know, does stand-up comedy. Brett's a song leader and sings songs that are always at the right time, at the right place.
And there you are.
That works perfectly, yes.
That's great.
So, in honor of their wedding and what's going to happen, we invite of them to be a part of this, so we ask of God's blessing upon them.
Say Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, V'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors. We thank you for all of your blessings, but most of all for the gift of love you have given to Olivia and Brett. Love is one of the highest experiences that we as humans can have, simply because it adds so much dimension and meaning to our lives. Give these, your children, a love that will be nurtured through communication and support. Let them open up their lives to each other, and may they grow together as a couple while they celebrate each other's uniqueness as individuals.
And become devoted to each other in care and concern, forgiving and sharing. Olivia and Brett, we wish for you much joy in a home that will be your own. We hope that it serves as an island of serenity, even if it's in New York City, and sanity in our all too frenzied world. We hope your home is not just a place of joy and retreat, but a space where values of your lives are generated and upheld. And I think how appropriate that you get this blessing in a parking lot of Judaism right now, because for all of the things in your 4+ years of love together, the journeys that 4 years, right? 16 or 14? That was 14 or 16. Was I right? 2016? Okay, see, okay. So it's off the top of my head here. So there's been twists and turns that you could not anticipate. You should know when Brett was planning to propose to Olivia, he had this great ornate evening planned with ice skating in Bryant Park and all these wonderful things, and surprised her and brought her there and found that the ice skating rink had been torn up by a backhoe and the park had been, everything been destroyed, and he was just at his wit's end, but Olivia still loved it, and he ended up still proposing, and everything fell into place. That we only can plan so much, and life still happens. You were going to get married at first, June 13th in Connecticut, and we've waited and figured out what to do. It really doesn't matter because the two of you are together. You have found love, and you're celebrating that, and that's what we want to celebrate now. So in 23 hours, you'll stand under a chuppah that's been constructed beautifully by your mom, by your mother-in-law, and that has the enveloping of your family around it with the tali tot of your family within there. And so you should feel that love of all of these cars that surround you as well. As you hold this Kiddush cup now, you get to use this for the first time now as sort of blessing of engagement. As we welcome Shabbat, you'll use this Kiddush cup under the chuppah as a blessing of marriage. And so with that and the sweetness of life, we say, bless are you, God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine, and the joy and sweetness of life.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. We all say really loud, L'chaim.
And now we say to you, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. Bless you, God, who has given us life, who has sustained us, and brought us to this awesome moment together, to sharing together. We all say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. You can share the wine, it's okay, let's all sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
traditional. Pretend like you're throwing candy at them. Throw love and kiss at them. I don't know what else you have.
Keep going. Keep honking. Let's do
And now, in honor of Brett and Olivia Cantor's got a Tenacious D song, she's going to break it. I'm just kidding.
No, just kidding. Sorry. Another time and place.
So, any Tish questions that have come in? I can't really see my screen. It keeps going and freezing.
I can see. Audrey, do we have any
I've got one Tish question that came from our parking lot, I believe. Barbara is somewhere here. I haven't seen her yet, but she asked the question, why is the main Reform service on Friday night and the Conservative and Orthodox service on Saturday morning? So traditionally, there were 3 days on which Torah was read, on Mondays, Thursdays, and Shabbat morning, on all 3 of those days. And the idea actually came from 2,000 years ago, a little over that, from Ezra and Nehemiah, when they would read Torah as they were in the market. And the idea was that they read on those days because that's when people came to the market to sell and to buy things and to be able to spread God's word, to share words of Torah, that they read them on those days as opposed to the other days when it was a little bit quieter in the market as well. So that continues, that tradition of reading Torah, traditionally on Monday, Thursday, and Shabbat morning. But for years, what then became the custom in many Reformed congregations is that people would come on Friday nights to welcome Shabbat. They weren't always doing things in their homes at the table, but it was nice to be able to join together as a community. And that became the primary service for people to be able to join together and celebrate Shabbat with. And then what happened was the Reformed Jews in the Midwest said, let's move Torah to Friday nights instead of just Saturday morning, and added both of them because the same idea of Ezra and Nehemiah, that we wanted to make sure that people would be able to hear words of Torah. And so Friday night became the tradition, especially when there's a bar bat mitzvah, or now only when there's a bar bat mitzvah, of reading Torah on Friday night. But that was one of the reasons that it was became more central, is because people were joining together on those days, on Friday nights. And we wanted to make sure that we could share some great teachings with them.
Henry, you don't like the answer. So, yes.
You know, we've watched it change through the years, because when Rabbi Mike first came to Shir Shalom, we had a very large Saturday morning service.
We didn't do Friday night in the summertime.
In the summer, we didn't do Friday night.
And I said, let's go outside.
And then it became...
So I could play.
Yeah, right.
So, yes.
So it changes with the needs, right? We move with the times.
Hey, thank you to Audrey, who's operating things from behind the scenes on the computers for those who are with us online.
Lots of love, lots of love.
And thank you to Jimmy, who's been on the soundboard and helping us navigate down here. Appreciate all of that as well. Yes.
A couple other shout outs as well. Thanks to Barry Levine and to Stan for setting up and making sure things are good to go. And later on this week, look for yourselves, because thanks to Cameron Rivkin, one of our young adults from Temple, was over there. He was filming with a drone today. So thanks to him for some good pictures that I'm sure will be coming out in some video as well.
It's been wonderful. Yeah, thank you, Cam. It's been wonderful to see you all in person, even if it's through the windshield.
Yes, and Brett and Olivia's wedding will be on YouTube, so you can watch it there too. I can invite everyone, right? Yeah, that's fine.
Wow.
Watch, you know.
That would be great.
So, well, we did Kiddush already, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we give thanks for being together and with the motzi, I believe, right? Rabbi's got a holiday there?
Yes.
All right.
Before we do the motzi, though, just a quick explanation for those who are here of what's going to happen when we finish. When we finish, we ask that people not stick around in the parking lot and socialize, but that everybody will depart. And thanks to Star Treks, who helped get us parked, they're also going to help us depart. And so what's going to happen is, I don't know if that is Evan's Ford Edge down there, but we're going to have that Ford Edge moved first, and then everybody's going to be able to pull forward and just go down the aisle to be able to leave. Nobody has to back out of spaces this week. Tried to make it a little bit easier for people as well as we were doing that.
As easy as possible. We are Jews, so it might not work, but we'll try. We'll try it. Well, let's do a little motzi, because I think someone will go to eat after this, right?
Yes. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen. V'tei avon. Eddie, there we go. People want the chal over
Give
there.
thanks for all of our blessings, especially on nights like this of health and of being together as a community in this unique way, seeing one another, sharing in that joy.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you. May God protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka.
May God shine upon you, and may God shine through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yisim lecha shalom.
May God always be a part of who we are as individuals, as a community, blessing us with all of our hopes and our wishes and joys. Most of all, blessing us, shalom, the peace, our heart and our mind, bring more peace into our world.
v'yisim lecha shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Good Shabbos,
shalom.
everyone.
Great to see you, Grandma Paul, Grandpa Bob.